So my name is Susie Brooks, and I'm an Instructional Technology Director from Mashpee, Massachusetts. I also do conference presentations, workshops, and keynotes all over the country under the name Technically Invisible. Today I'm recording from our elementary school here in Mashpee, Massachusetts, so you might hear some real live kids in the background. Lately, I've been sharing strategies to support staff and students who struggle with anxiety. And in my search to find ways to use Google Maps as a tool, I couldn't find any videos. So I thought I'd put together some strategies that I use with my kids, with my students, and myself. My anxiety doesn't cause me to fear getting lost, or it doesn't make me worry about driving. I worry personally more about being late or not finding the entrance or the right parking. Some of my worries would never cross the minds of others. I know that. Just like some location concerns that my students or my kids have had over the years have taken me by surprise. So in many of these instances, I find that the Google Map guy is so helpful. And I don't mean the guy driving the car in the picture. This one I took a couple of years ago on Pacific Coast Highway. I'm talking about how Google Street View can help with location anxiety. Because next time, instead of saying don't worry to someone who is worried, instead you can give them a tool that can help ease their concerns. Let me give you a couple of examples. So every year our school held our field day at a nearby field where we would walk 500 students the 0.7 miles each way. And I had a third grade student who had never made the trek before because of mobility concerns. So what we did is we walked the route with the Google guy to be able to see sidewalks and any crosswalks, to see if there were any hills, any potential obstacles that that student would be facing. It was a great way for them to be able to make an informed decision, and it made a world of difference for that student to be able to be included among their peers, even though they had a legitimate fear of whether or not they'd be able to do it, which in the end they were. It was pretty awesome. Another year I had a student who had a significant fear of animals, and every year we go to Plymouth Plantation for a field trip, and there's a bunch of them there. And even though I had been a dozen times, I could not adequately describe where the animals were and how they were safely penned. I couldn't just tell my student not to worry, even though I knew that there was nothing to worry about. It's not a concern of mine. So the Google guy walked us through Plymouth Plantation so that the student knew what routes to take and also what parts of the park to avoid. In fact, we actually found some very safe vantage points for that student to enjoy those 1630 animals from a safe distance. And what's really cool is that even though the street view didn't work very well, I was able to use the photospheres. And so the student knew when they came up the ramp or up the path and came through this gate that here to the left, they would be able to see some of the animals safely behind the pen. It wouldn't take them by surprise on that field trip. And then also we would go to the Freedom Trail in Boston, which is a great field trip. It's a long day, and I had a student who was very, very concerned about restrooms. Now, as adults, we had already done our homework, and we knew where the restrooms would be located. But telling the student not to worry about that wasn't enough. So the Google guy was kind enough to walk us along the routes on the Freedom Trail, which is awesome because in Boston, like every street has a Google Street View. And that way a student could see without me just telling them exactly where they were located and that there was never a restroom that was very far off. So these were just a sample of, I'm sure that there are many more ways to be able to help students and others with anxiety to worry less without using the strategy of telling them not to worry, because it doesn't really help. If you have any more ideas, feel free to share them in the comments below or reach out to me online. You'll find me on Twitter at Simply Susie. I look forward to hearing from you.